Alright. What's up mga kachimek? No? So, last time we talked about periodic table of elements. Now we are going to talk about electron configuration. Now, for sure, no, some of you are afraid of what is to come. But again, no, chemistry, when you think of it as a difficult subject, it would be difficult. But if you think of it as an easy subject, it will be a lot more easier and a lot more of fun. So I'm with Johnny. What can I? So we're playing chess a while ago, but I had to, yan, disturb. Yan. Sabi niya kasi gusto niya ma-extra. So yan, Coast Guard kong friend, yan, si John Dominic Canyon. Yan. So anyways, that's just for our introduction. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about the electron configuration. Now, what do we mean when we say electron configuration? Now, electron configuration is simply the distribution of electron inside an atom, particularly in what we call energy level. So these are what we are going to talk about right now. So to start with, let us recall, what does an atom looks like? We had the whole discussion on the history of modern atomic theory. We learned the Democritus, Dalton, Thomson, Rutherford, Bohr, and the modern atom. No? In the modern atom, we know that the center of an atom is the nucleus. Inside the nucleus are your protons and your neutrons. And outside, there is seemingly an area or a region. This is not a donut. That is not a disk. There's a region where the electron might be located. So, halimbawa, if I'm talking about hydrogen atom, the Niels Bohr model, the planetary model, will give you this image, or this illustration. But the reality is, this boundary is simply saying that the electron is inside this area. Inside the cloud. Lagyan natin ng ang ating donut ng design. It's cloudy there. That we cannot determine the position of an electron at the same time. So we have discussed why, and we've learned that it's because of light and the properties of electron. It makes it seemingly invisible, meaning we cannot see the exact position of an electron at an exact time. But since we are talking about things that we cannot see, we cannot use the image nor the illustration of the modern atomic model. So, although we now know that the planetary model does not work, for the sake of the electron configuration discussion, we are going to use the Niels Bohr model or the planetary model, where there are energy levels per atom. Say for instance, we are talking about lithium. So this is the nucleus of your lithium. We have 2 electrons which lies on the energy level, and we have the third electron because atomic number is 3. So lithium with 3 electrons. So ganito yung magiging model natin. For the rest of the discussion, what we are going to talk about here is that where do we place the electrons for every element? Now, we are going to determine the position, and we are simply going to distribute the electrons for every element involved. Are you ready, mga chimek? Parang pintados lang. Are you ready, Johnny? Yes, Papa daw. And so, we are now ready, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's start by defining the parts, where the of an atom, where the electron lies. So bear with me now, because I'll be introducing to you the parts. The first part, or the first area where the electron is located, is the so-called energy level. So what are the energy level? These are your imaginary lines or imaginary boundaries, but in our illustration, these are your circles, which are indicated in our periodic table as magic, as discussed last time. you have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Therefore, we have 7 energy levels. No, 7 main energy levels. So these are the guide. No, if you are going to draw hydrogen, you look at what period it is. So that's one circle around the nucleus. Lithium will have 2. Sodium will have 3, potassium will have 4, and so on and so forth. So that is our main energy level. So let me write it. These lines here, including this one, this, so let me remove here kasi lithium ang ginagamit nating example. So this one is your main energy level. So that is your main energy level. Alright. Some books would use other terms for the main energy level. Some uses shell. Maybe you've heard of it. No? Or petron. Joke lang. Dapat mag-ngirit ka dyan. Ni. Yan. So, walang reaction. Meaning hindi benta ang joke ko. Ayan. So, main energy level or shell. Now, inside the main energy level, we have the so-called sub-energy level. So, let's focus on this. Again, this is an energy level. This one is an energy level 2. Now, inside a main energy level, we have a so-called sub-energy level. So, inside here are sub-energy level. Yan. Later on, we'll talk about their shapes. No? Pero ngayon, spherical lang muna gagamitin ko. So, for every energy level, there comes one sub-energy level. So, let me reiterate that. For every main energy level, it has one sub-level. No? Or for every shell, there's one subshell. So for here, this is your first energy level. So let's label it first. This one is second. And if there are more orbits, that would be your third energy level. So for every energy level, there is one sub-energy level. And we will label it as letters. No? The S. So, I'll use S. And then, second energy level, sabi sa rule, it will have 2 sub-energy level. So, here, we'll have S and then P. No? Take note that I'm just making a circle around them to indicate it's a region inside an energy level. So, these are your so-called, anong tawag dito, Johnny? I don't know. Very good. That is your sub-energy level. So, dapat makinig ka. Sub-energy level. Yan. Naka-focus ka kasi sa cellphone mo. That is your sub-energy level. And then, yan. Inside your sub-energy level, we have the so-called orbitals. Ano? So, later on, lagyan muna natin tuloy dito. Halimbawa, hindi na to lithium. Let's think of other elements with sabihin natin 4 shells or 4 energy level. Sige, let's take a look at our periodic table. Fourth shell, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, anyone here? Let's stick with potassium. Potassium. So, this is your first energy level, second energy level. This will be, of course, your third. And the last one will be your fourth. Very good! That's fourth energy level. Si Tonton po ang nagingirit. Yan, madami tayo ditong supportive friends. First, second, third, and fourth. So, again, as I was saying, first energy level, 1 energy level will give you 1 subshell. 2 energy level will give you 2 subshell. Third energy level will give you 3 subshells rather. So, that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Again, I'm just assuming position for these sub-energy levels because we cannot locate where the electrons are. And these are not the actual shapes. No, they have hybrids that we call hybrids. So S, we have P, and the third one would now be our D. No, the D sub-level. And eventually, for the fourth one, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the S, the P, and D. And the last one, probably you have that in mind, our Johnny, na our inverted J. Ay, hindi siya inverted J. Inverted J. F. The F orbital. No, the SPDF. The Power Ranger SPDF. Ni. Yan. So, let me reiterate. We just discussed the 3 areas where the electron can be located. First is the main energy level. Second, we can smaller the area by locating the sub-level. That would be your subshell or sub-energy level, which is our SPD and F. And lastly, inside the subshells, there are so-called orbitals. So let me write it in this position. Dito na lang, medyo may space pa dito. Sige, thank you Johnny for catching the orbitals. Yan, orbitals, we can use lines, no, to indicate their region. So what we are doing here is we are trying to actually locate where the electron is. Kumbaga, ito yung potassium atom natin. So let's place K. I want to locate one specific electron or a person. Sabihin natin, pag sinabi mong, nasa ano siya, nasa Camarines Sur. So your Camarines Sur is your entire energy level, no? Or your main energy level. But if you say, nasa Camarines Sur, Camarines Sur yung una, no? Nasa Camarines Sur siya, yan yung main energy level mo. Pero pag sinabi mong nasa Naga City siya, you are now actually saying a subshell. So that could be nasa S City siya, S City or Naga City. Pero malaki pa rin ang Naga City. So therefore, to locate, you'll tell the barangay, no, or the sitio. Sabi natin San Rafael Carayan. At that, though we cannot directly find where the electron is, we smollen, no, the area, or we minimize the area where the electrons can be located. And that is the role of your orbitals. No? Electrons, according to our scientists, are either spinning up and spinning down. Spinning up or spinning down. Familiar na ba ang arrow? Half arrow to indicate directions of spinning electrons. And then, just take note of this. No, this is a very long discussion. But I want you to remember that for every S orbital, S subshell rather, there is one orbital. So meaning, if here I have S, I have one line above it. No, an area where where 2 electrons could stay. For my P orbital, a P subshell, I can have 3 orbitals. For my D, I can have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for my F, I can have 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yan. So let me reiterate the parts. Main energy level or shell. These are your seemingly planetary orbits. Inside this region are your sub-energy level or your subshell. So inside are your subshell. And then inside your subshells are what we call orbital. S will have 1, P will have 3, D will have 5, and F will have 7. No? So medyo makalat na ang ating whiteboard. So let's summarize it. Through what we call the Aufbau principle. Or probably you have seen this over and over again in your high school, but your teacher failed to tell you how was it created or where did it even came from. So let's start with the concept I just told you a while ago. For every energy level, that's my 1, no? I know that I have 7 energy levels, right? Okay, check. Because the period will tell you the shell and the sub-energy level. That's Johnny San. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Baka kasi sabihin nyo, nagmamagic ako. That's 1. Sige, lagay natin dito sa gilid. I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I know that francium, the biggest element in terms of size, will have 7 shells. So that would be it. And I know that for every shell, there is a corresponding subshell. So I have one subshell. The first subshell is your S. For every energy level, there's a corresponding subshell or sub-energy level. So for my 2, I'll have 2S and then another P subshell. To indicate that this P belongs to the 2, I will add another 2. Do you see where it's going now? If not yet, let's continue. For my third energy level, imagine we are just adding circles or planetary orbits inside our atom. That would be S. And then we have 3 for another P. And then another, because we have 3, a third main energy level, it will have 3 sub-energy level. And then for my fourth, that would be S, P, D, and F. That would be fourth, and fourth. Now, we have a limit. Now, we don't have GHI. Now, we only have 4 subshells. So, therefore, even we have 5 here, it will only have 4 subshells. So, I'll just copy. (6D), 6F, 7S, and 7P. Technically, I should stop here at 7P. Pero, yan, for the sake of just illustration, I'll go with this one because you'll notice later what would happen. 7D and then 7F. Alright, so we now just placed our shells and our subshells. And then the last thing to do is to place your orbitals. So, orbitals, ang symbol ko sa orbitals or symbol natin would be line. S would have 1 orbital. P would have 3. And D would have 10. Hindi ko na ilalagay. 5 rather. 5. Sige, imagine mo na may 5 lines dito. Or lagyan natin ng space para mag-cash siya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, our F would have 7. 6F, 7F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we are all set. Now, Johnny, kindly pick an element, no, or pinpoint a letter na gagamitin natin for our first example.
Diyan lang saan.
Oh, kahit saan. SR. Alright, very good, Johnny. Oy, ang nito siya. Sorry. Ang hangin kasi. We have strontium. Atomic number is 38. Alright. So, strontium, lagay natin dito sa gilid. Atomic number is 38. So, we know that for strontium, with an atomic number of 38, the protons is 38. Tama, in a neutral atom, the protons is 38. And the electrons would be 38. Hopefully, you still remember that. Now, we are going to do the so-called, our topic, the electron configuration. And again, as I was saying, electron configuration is simply the distribution of the electrons. So, we are just going to distribute this 38. No? Now, you have 2 ways to do that. Either you draw or you illustrate and then you place dots, no, the Louis dot symbol in our planetary model, or you simply do this. Because I told you this is just a numerical illustration of what we have drawn a while ago. So, we have 38. So, here, we simply have to place the 38 electrons in these particular energy level and sub-energy levels. But before that, no, we have to take note that on our first three energy level, we can go from left to right, going down, then to right, going down, and then to right. But here, there's a special rule, no? Because of the concept, so we call, I forget the term. I'll place it in the caption or in the comment. No? Shielding effect. Na, that's the term. No? Instead of jumping automatically to 3D, later on ilalagay natin sa illustration, pupunta tayo sa 4S because it's easier to attract these two electrons than to attract the electrons here that are too many. So, for that, gagawa natin siya ng line. No? Ganyan. Familiar na ba? Bakit siya may ganyan? Ginagawa lang natin to because instead of going to 3D automatically, magfo 4S muna siya. So, ganyan yung mangyayari. And you can see this on your periodic table of elements. And then you'll realize na kung meron pang extra element, magsi 7D pero wala na, so we can remove this one. Can even remove this one. Alright. Sige. Let's distribute now our electrons. So, I know that for every orbital, I can have 2 electrons. So that would be, I can place one spinning up. I should have brought 2 whiteboard. Or maybe I can write on the table. Let me try. Yan, very good. Yan. So, dito muna tayo. I can have 1 spinning up, 1 spinning down. That's 2. So, dito ko na lang tuloy ilagay. Baka mapagalitan tayo. That would be 1S. I have 2. And then I'll go to 2. I'll add 1 and another down. So, lagyan ko muna. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The rule is fill everything up. Di pala nakikita. Sorry. Fill everything first with an up arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 13, 14, 15. Ulitin natin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Then, before proceeding to 3D, dito na tayo. 19, 20. And then, dito na. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yan, 4P, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And then we go here. 37, 38. Yay! We have now the 38 electrons. Diba? Parang Dora the Explorers lang. The next step, upon doing so, we write it now in our electron configuration. Now, 1 is 2 because I have 2 electrons in my first subshell and first energy level. So, that is your 1s2. Second, I have, hindi ko pala nakikita. So, ayan. Again, I have 2 electrons in my first energy level and S subshell. So, 1s2. Sunod, I have 2s2. 2s2. Then, I have 2p. Ilan dito ang arrow, Johnny? 6. Very good. That's your 2p6. And then, here goes your 3. 3s. Ilan dito? 2. Yan, nahiya pa siya. 2. Very good. And then, sa p, again, I have 6. And then, I have 4s. So, mauuna si s kesa sa 3D because of the shielding effect that I've mentioned. And then, I have 3D10, 3D10, and then 4p6, 4p6, and lastly, my 5s2. So, hindi na kasya. Nandito na siya. And that is the electron configuration for my strontium, the SR. So, SR. This is your electron configuration. 5s2, let's check. It is in the second orbital. Notice, it's in the second subshell rather. S subshell and second orbital. This is your first orbital. All elements here will have S1 ending because this is your S orbital, S subshell. And this is your second orbital on the S subshell. So everything that lies here will end at S2. So 5s2. So check natin ha. Kung etong 2s2, dito yung tapos. Dito yung tapos ng 2s2. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Amazing, right? Brilliant. Check natin 3s2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 12. 1, 12. That would be your magnesium on this line. Amazing, right? Yes, thank you, Johnny. Johnny, yes, Papa. Sige, let's have one more. This time, let's clear this one. Alisin na muna natin yung mga undesirable arrows because I know we already know where it will go. So we can create our Aufbau principle without memorizing it. Again, we create 7 subshells because we know that there are 7 main energy level. I'll write the necessary subshell per energy level. 2, we'll have 2p, 3p, 4p, 5p, 6p, 7p, 3d, 4d, 5d, 6d, 7d, 4f, 5f, 6f. And the arrow goes like this one. So last example. Sige, choose. Hindi naman dito sa S group. Pwede nang anything here, Johnny. TI. Very good. That's ano yan? Thallium. TL yan. TL, oh. Sorry to siya. Hindi ko sinasabing pangit ang pakasulat mo. Char lang. That's TL. So, let's check the atomic number. So, on your exam, ibibigay lang yung atomic number. That's 81. Ooh, that's a very long way to go. Pero sige, since yan ang request ni Johnny, yes, Papa, we'll give it a shot. TL81. In a neutral atom, protons are 81, electrons are 81. So, by means of electron configuration, we are to distribute the 81 electrons. Now, again, I could still draw lines here to indicate that S has 1 orbital, P has 3 orbitals, D has 5 orbitals, and F has 7 orbitals. Or I could still simply think of it so that mabilis yung pag-arrange. So that would be 2. Shortcutin ko na. Nagigets niyo ba kung bakit gano'n? Again, I have one line here. 1, 2. Bakit ko ito na tinturong arrow? The hands rule. Up and down arrow. Because our next topic on the next sem probably would be quantum numbers. The address of the electron. The particular address of the electrons. Pero yan, that's another lesson. So, we have 2. 3 orbitals, we have 6. So, mabilis na to pag alam mo kung ilan ang ilalagay at alam mong malaki yung number of electrons. 2, 6, 10. Kahit dito pala ako dapat nagsimula 2, tapos nag-10 ako. 10, 6, 2, 10. Check ko muna. 10, 2 plus 2 plus 6, that's 10. 12, 18, 28. Naglo-loading ang math ko. 30, 36, 46, 48, 54, 64, Dapat dito pala. 66. And then, 68. Mache-check ko naman kung tama. 70. I forgot here. Oh, I missed an area. Sige, balikan natin. 4D10 nag 4P6 nag 5S2 ako. And then nag 4D10 ako, nag 5P6 nag 6S2. Dito pala muna ako, that mag 14, mag 10. So remove ko muna to. Okay, let's count again. 10, 12, 18, 28, 30, 36, 46, 50, 52, 58, 68, 70, 76, 78, and I'll add 3. Tama ba? 5F3 ang ending ng thallium natin. Oh, I got it wrong. It should end. Tama ba ang alignment ko? Sige, medyo nalito na din ako. Ulitin natin ha. Atomic number is 81. 2, 4, 10, 2, ilagyan muna natin. 10, 2, 6, 10, 6, 2, 2. Sige pa ganyan. 2 plus 2, 10, 12, 18, 28, 29, 30, 36, 46, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 56 plus 14, 70, and then 80, 10, and then to 81, I have P1. Alright, let's rewrite it. That would be, if you are using a modern periodic table of elements, you will see if the configuration is correct. 2S2, kinakopy ko lang, 2P6, 3S2, 3P6. Again, before I go to 3D10, because my arrow, we have arrow here, hindi ko lang nilagay kasi for the sake na medyo malinaw ang ating board or S2, I'll have the 3D10, 4P6, and then 5S2, continuation. I'll go to 4D10, and then 5P6, 6S2, go to 4F14, 5D10, and then 6P1. So remember the arrows from right to left, that's the Aufbau principle. Aufbau. AUFB, AUA, BAU. So 6P1 ang ending natin. Check natin sa periodic table. Alright, TL lies on the P subshell. On the P subshell, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 possibilities. This is your first orbital, second orbital, third orbital. Your P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6. No, the best subject, P6. The noble gases. That's why physicists are noble. Nobel Prize. Char lang. So that's your P orbital. And to cut the story short, if you'll get your D orbital, this is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is your D10, no? Your D1, D2, D3 until D10. And if you will end up at F, no? F14 will be here. This is your L1, L2, F1, F2, F3 until F14. This is your F subshell. Now that is how you create an electron configuration. That's why, again, I'm saying the periodic table is wonderful. No? It's very amazing. No? It goes beyond our brain. No? Again, na believe ako kay Mendeleev for arranging the periodic table in such a manner. So, ito na yung